And welcome back to Crimes of Passion. Our next story takes place in this very apartment. The two men in our story lost something very near and dear to them. One lost his roommate. The other lost his mind. Scott Anderson and Ben Thomas were classmates. They were roommates. But more than that, they were pals. To those who knew them, they seemed inseparable, until one night when Ben Thomas went over the edge and tried to take Scott Anderson's life. Anderson is still shook up by that fateful night 3 years ago. So much so that when we approached him for an interview, he agreed on the terms that his identity be anonymous.
Ben and I were best buds, man. I mean, I never thought he'd try to kill me or nothing.
Scott, in your own words, tell us what happened.
Well, I was at home. I was between jobs then. And Ben came home and he was all cranky because he got fired.
Ben Thomas had indeed been fired that day from his fudge packing job at the local candy factory. But according to Anderson, that is not what pushed Thomas over the edge.
Well, Ben loved cookies. Ben loved cookies more than anything. And the night before, he told me that I was welcome to eat some if I wanted to, so I did.
But when Ben Thomas saw that all his cookies had been eaten, he forgot all about offering them to his roommate. This is what caused him to spiral out of control. He then dug out this pistol from the hall closet. The pistol was registered not in his name, but in Scott Anderson's name.
Yeah, I had that gun, and I didn't even know he knew I had it. But, you know, there's a lot of Germans in this neighborhood, and it's my constitutional right to arm myself.
Thomas loaded his roommate's weapon. Then he headed for the door to Anderson's bedroom.
I was in my room writing a letter to my sponsor child in Peru, Pierre, and I heard him stomping down the hallway, and I knew he must have been mad about something. And he kicks my door open and points my own gun right at me. And I said, "That's my gun," because I wanted him to, you know, put it down if I had to give it back to me.
Scott Anderson couldn't have been more wrong. According to police reports, when Anderson said the words, "That's my gun," Ben Thomas saw Anderson's teeth peppered with the remains of his cookies. He screamed and fired a single bullet into his left shoulder. A neighbor heard the gunshot and called the police. When the authorities arrived, Ben Thomas had mentally checked out and was trying to make his own batch of cookies. Ben Thomas was arrested, tried, and convicted of intentional manslaughter. He served 2 years.
I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky I've got a new roommate. Ever since Ben shot me, things have been going really good for me. I've learned to count my blessings.
And what about Ben Thomas? After paying his debt to society for shooting his roommate, Ben's out in the world again, trying to earn a living. When we contacted him in regards to this piece, he was more than willing to comply.
Yeah, I shot Scott. That creep took everything from me. He ate all my cookies. Those weren't cheap cookies either. I had to pack a lot of fudge to buy a pack. He got me fired from that job. He also got me fired from my bikini inspector job. Now that was a sweet gig. He got my girlfriend pregnant. He got both my sisters pregnant. He deals drugs, launders money, pirates cable, jaywalks, removes labels from mattresses. I'm glad I shot him, and I might do it again. He's a menace to society. Am I crazy for being the only one who sees that?
Yes, you are, Ben. Today, Scott Anderson is alive and well, and Ben Thomas is a demented little weasel. Tomorrow we'll be talking with another little weasel who steals from his owners in order to support his drug habit. Until then, for Crimes of Passion, I'm Harry Potter. Good night.